And then I told Jeff's mom. Oh wait, we're on.
You're an asshole. Welcome to Black Mind's second podcast ever. I am your host, Jeff Rock. Next to me is host Samuel, and next to him is host Josh. Welcome, hosts of the Black.
Josh, this guy.
Yeah. So this week has been kind of hectic in many ways for us. I just kind of want to apologize to Samuel and Josh because I kind of led them around a little bit, and yeah.
I didn't really know you were out of town until I'll be home in 3 hours, and they're like, oh, you're out of town?
Yeah, or he said, oh yeah, there's gonna be no podcast next week. We're like, oh okay, and then he's like, oh yeah, a podcast in 3 hours, guys. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I made plans.
Yeah. Yeah. So we should talk about some stuff. Last week we have some sources on AMD versus NVIDIA. NVIDIA just announced their 980 Ti series, which gives the performance of a Titan X, apparently.
What's the cost, though?
Well, it's apparently $350 less.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's competitive.
That being said, there was some new stuff about AMD's next graphics card, and they're talking about high bandwidth memory.
High bandwidth memory would, really fast memory?
Really fast memory. Good for us. Essentially, if we're going to get into this, Sam, I don't know if you're looking at the topic list or not.
Well, who's topless?
Topless?
Podcast topic list. Okay.
Yeah. So, literally, AMD has announced some very interesting stuff. I think right now they announced high bandwidth memory.
How high though? Because if you look at the Titan X and Titan Z, their bandwidth, they're using DDR5, which looks like AMD is using here, as well as can they compete with 12 gigs of RAM?
It's 4 gigs of RAM.
How many?
4.
Yeah, see, the thing is, what most people don't realize with the Titan cards replaced the 780 cards. The 780 cards were dedicated GPU, they were meant to make video games. They're meant to run with stuff like UDK and Unreal, and Unity and CryEngine. That's what they're meant to go on because they have such high RAM.
Yeah,
for the cards themselves.
4 gigs. This isn't something that normally will blow your mind away, but I'm guessing if they're going for it, this doesn't mean that there isn't going to be an 8 gig version down the road. This doesn't mean that there's going to be a 4 gig, 12 gig version down the road or anything like that. But what this means is that 4 gigs is usually pretty good. You can usually get them for a lot cheaper. AMD graphics cards you can get for a lot cheaper. One of the things I mentioned a while on the podcast that we recorded last week that ate itself was that AMD kind of seems to do stuff that pushes graphics cards forward a little bit more, and they do it for free. Whereas NVIDIA is a business first, and they tend to produce products that kick ass, but they come with a premium.
I won't argue that point.
Yeah.
I will be perfectly honest. I am a NVIDIA believer. I'm extremely biased because I've had nothing but trouble with AMD.
I had a 5970 for my first graphics card. It was great. It ran so well.
Yeah. I'm currently on a 670 and I'm upgrading to a Titan, so.
I'll just keep rocking myself back and forward. Eventually it will become true.
Well, my system, on its current video card, I think if my computer was real, it would be it would want to cry because I've got 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM, and a hex rendering core, and it's just like with a 670 video card.
I have a computer.
This doesn't work.
I have a 280X. That's what I'm running.
280X. I don't know what that is.
It's an AMD 280X.
280X.
I was poor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what that is.
That's
I always keep forgetting the specs of my computer.
It's rebranded.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah. All I know is that it's kind of miscellaneous parts from other years.
Oh.
So yeah, and I know one year I went all out and upgrade the shit out of the motherboard and chip.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that I need to upgrade again. So
Yeah.
it's probably a bit old.
Well, the reason why I upgraded my RAM to 32 gigs and just said fuck it was I was doing some different things on 3ds Max and testing out doing some high poly rendering for normal maps. And by high poly, I'm talking like between 12 and 20 million polys. And when trying to do that with only 8 gigs of RAM, my computer is like
Yeah.
It just didn't work. Where now it's freeze.
And that's DDR4 too, so it's even faster.
Yeah, I think mine's running at 24 megahertz.
You think? Thinking's good. Thinking's very good, especially when thinking involves stuff like the Monaco Grand Prix, which I'm going to stay off topic for 5 seconds.
Oh, speak about racing. I saw a post on Reddit about like the worst high performance race car crash they ever had in that sport, and it was something like in the 1955. One car careened off the course because one guy was trying to get in the pit stop. It hit the crowd because in the 1955, so they don't have any safety standards whatsoever. So the car jumped, it hit the barricade. It rolled off the barricade into the crowd, and I think the fatality rating was like over 100 people.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it was. You look at the images, and there's just nothing but gore. And you're like, ugh.
So I'm just going to say this right now. Sebastian Vettel came in second, and he beat the known as Lewis Hamilton. I got to bleep that now, so I made work for myself.
Spoiler alert: Jeff has a huge car fetish.
He has a serious relationship with his car. Okay.
So Sebastian Vettel, who came in second, made me very happy, and moving on to different topics, other than my car fetish, which is non-existent and will probably never be eleganted on again. Speaking of which, I got a Mustang Avenue poster to go on my wall.
I bought a 6x5 whiteboard.
I gotta get one of those whiteboards.
And if you get one, just go big.
Yeah. Because if anything, I've been discovering that I kind of need like a calendar, and I kind of need something that I can just kind of write in bigger letters and stuff like that. So if I could somehow get one that just coats an entire wall, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did. Like I moved my computer out of my room and into an office, like in the house, and I moved my laptop and my TV into my room because there wasn't enough room for everything before. And so whenever I want to, watch TV or Netflix or whatever, I just do it in my room. And whenever I'm working or playing video games, I do it on the computer. I find it's better because otherwise there's less need to just watch TV when you should be doing something.
Oh yes, it's so you don't need to watch television ever. So, topic number 2. Speaking of which, talking about not wanting to watch stuff and everything like that, and that's a terrible segue if I ever have known one. Hint, stalling, hint. Say topic number 2, please, because I'm not on topic list. Topic number 2.
Puyo Tetris. I can't find that.
Puyo Tetris?
No, I like Puyo Tetris. It's way better.
I don't know what that is.
Puyo Tetris, isn't it?
So Sam, there's a game. It's called Tetris.
I know what Tetris is.
I don't think you know what it is. It's a game which is perfect in every single way.
Spoiler alert: Jeff also has a Tetris fetish.
Minor one.
Okay, first of all, it's he doesn't use a straight line block. It's too boring, so he used the L shape.
Um,
God damn it!
That's
God damn it! Oh, I gotta shut up. Okay, continue.
so Puyo Puyo Tetris, I put that in my PlayStation 3 after dying a lot to the father in Bloodborne because I haven't played that game much.
Played it all.
It's
I've seen a lot of Let's Plays.
don't buy a PS4 for this game. Don't make the mistake I did and buy it for Destiny and then realize that Destiny sucked.
It's actually I found a way better Destiny. It's called Warframe and it's free.
Oh, but Warframe has one little thing that just bugs the crap out of me.
Ninja robots?
No, actually, I love Ninja Robots. It's their dying system. Encourages you. The way it encourages you to buy stuff bugs the crap out of me.
Yeah, that too.
Like other than that, I love the game, but I have to look that up. Otherwise, I'm just talking out of my ass. There's something with it that involves their dying system that just bug the crap out of me.
Yeah, when I was playing it last time, as soon as I started figuring out that the only way you can really actively change your looks or change the guns you have or all that stuff, you just have to grind the shit out of it, and it's like every free to play game is always that grind to get anywhere, and it's like, well, could you not have that grind to get somewhere?
There's a mathematical formula. I don't know what it is. I have heard of it though. Of fun versus grind equals how much people will spend to skip the grind.
Yeah.
So they want the game to be fun enough for you to want to play it, but annoying enough for you to want to pay to skip it.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to literally, what you literally want to do is you literally just want to spend $60 and get the game for free.
Yes.
I would do that.
In a heartbeat. I much prefer the system where you pay one-time fee up front.
Yeah, me too.
Sounds like it would be too good to be true.
Well, to be fair, Blizzard does it for the most part.
Oh, yeah. Well, the brilliance of... Anyways, we're getting off topic here. But the brilliance of Hearthstone is, and Heroes of the Storm, is that they do the quest things, and you don't have to put a single cent into the game in order to be good.
Hearthstone can get pretty grindy at times.
Yes.
Especially the last time I played it, I got really confused with keywords and trying to figure out, like, okay, I want to make this deck. How am I going to get those cards? Well, you can't really trade with anyone, and there's no trading. There's not much. Like, the only way you can get more cards is to actively buy them or keep grinding it out through the stupid, booster?
Oh, there's also the Magic Dust system. Make your own custom cards too.
Oh yeah, and that Magic Dust system, which again, but it's another form of grinding, more or less. So yeah, if anything, the thing to turn me off from that was like, well, I've already spent money on Magic Gathering, might as well stay on that. And two, I never understood how their system worked. Their systems worked on the game. Like, there's one or two things I was confused, and I never fully understood how that worked. There's what was it? There are +1/+1 counters, and you put health on a minion. Like, what's the difference? I don't know. Although I think I've learned the difference from last week, but it's still, I don't want to go back to it ever.
Yeah. Although I gotta say though, the Puyo Puyo Tetris game is great and fantastic, and you can put it into any console that is Western, Japanese, European, or anything like that. As for Hearthstone, it is also fantastic.
Yeah. Get more people into card games.
Josh, you play Magic a lot. Like, do you think that Hearthstone equates a lot to Magic in similar ways to deck building or anything?
It does quite a bit. I mean, it still has a mana system, but in a different way. So you're not constantly fetching into your deck to get a 1 mana card in order to spend it to play spells. Like in okay, so the ramp in okay, so there's a thing called the mana ramp in both card games. So in Hearthstone, the mana ramp is always given to you. Like the mana is always given to you every turn. So you never have to worry about, am I going to get my mana card this turn, or can I get my land fetch card coming out the next turn after that, so I can play my certain cards in Magic. In Hearthstone, you're always given the mana, so you don't have to necessarily worry about, oh, I'm sure hope I get that land card so I can play this 3-drop creature or whatever. And yeah, in Magic the Gathering, you have to kind of like make sure your curve is not too high or not too low, and you have to match it properly. So there's a lot more strategy in a way of figuring out, like, okay, this deck in Magic the Gathering, I could make a really low mana-based deck, and then I don't have to put that much mana in, but I could put in tons more creatures. Therefore, I can just swamp the guy with a lot of creatures, and I don't have to necessarily worry about, oh, if I'm only have 2 mana on my side, that's good enough for doing all the tricks I need to do. So, yeah, the big difference is one is you're always getting mana, and the other one is you have to kind of search for it in your deck. And the other difference is +1/+1 counter system they have in Hearthstone, which again I'm a little confused on it because in Magic the Gathering you don't always have to wait. Like let's say I hit with a creature, it's a 2/2, and it has a +1/+1 counter on it, and it makes it a 3/3. If I hit another creature that's a 2/2, I would kill it. But there also be a health exchange and a battle exchange, so they both take damage, but the 2/2 would die, and my 3/3 will still be there, but it will take take damage until the turn resolves. Then the damage be removed, and then go back to full health again. But in Hearthstone, the damage just stays on forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the one thing that confused the shit out of me was, if I were to place a +1/+1 counter on a Hearthstone creature, and then I gave it health, then I see the numbers go up. I go, okay, so this does something. Actually, what's a good example that confused the shit out of me? It was, let's say I had a 2/2 creature in Hearthstone, and then I gave it 2 +1/+1 counters. Then I got 3 damage hit on me, and then I gave the creature like 5 health. Now I thought, hey, okay, so is there like a cap on health or something, or it does like increase the health cap?
Yes.
So, yeah.
There's a hard cap. You can only have it as high as it would normally be.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that it confused me endlessly, because instead of like just removing the damages at the end of turns, the damage is constant. So I just never fully understood of like what, like, how many +1/+1s I have in my dude, how many times I can like heal him or stuff like that. So yeah, that's the one thing that confused me about Hearthstone. What else? The difference with Magic and Hearthstone. I don't know. Artwork is more cute
Yep.
in Hearthstone. And what else? That's like all I could think of.
So Hearthstone is a very different game. Is that safe to say than Magic? It's
Oh yeah. I would say they have their similarities, but they are very, very different.
Okay. I play Hearthstone a lot, and I tend to enjoy Hearthstone a lot more than I enjoy Magic, because I don't have to go outside then.
Mm.
Yeah. But like that being said, I think the Hearthstone Magic is I think Magic's a lot better game than Hearthstone. It has those years of experience and those expansions and stuff like that. Make it like
Yeah. It's gonna take some time for it to gather enough enough what's the word, backdrop of cards, or enough like archive, like of if you go back far enough or look deep enough into the archive of cards, you find that one certain card. It does that one special thing that you really need for this one weird deck that you made, and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Josh, I know why you're getting confused. It's kind of like the Pathfinder versus D&D 3.5. Don't play both of them at the same time. The issue is you're playing two games that are similar enough that the functions that work in one do not work in the other game, but your brain hasn't figured out which one it's for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like mixing up. It's kind of like using both 3ds Max and Maya at the same time. Generally, not a good plan because you're gonna get messed up because they're similar enough that you're like, oh yeah, let's try and do this. It's not working because you're using the wrong program.
Yeah.
Anyways, topic number 2 was the greatest Tetris game of all time.
Did we just have a Tetris topic?
No, we're talking a different Tetris topic.
Puyo Puyo Tetris is a game that literally is Puyo Puyo and Tetris mixed together. They are very similar topics. Tetris Battle Gaiden is actually the greatest Tetris game ever made.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, we're done there. We're done with that topic. Sam, how was your week?
I just deleted both the Tetris topics just for reason where it would happen. My week was tiring. I'm working a very physical job after sitting on my butt for 8 months or so, literally doing nothing. And then I go to a super physical job. For the first week, I was ready to throw up, and then it slowly gets better and better. And at this point, I really hate this job. So it's not that the job's bad in a real way. It's just I'd rather be working on video games by far.
Oh, I know. I'm working on a lumber mill, or not lumber mill, but the lumber yard for like a Rona. Like if you go to Rona, there's a big lumber area. You go get your wood and build your shed or deck or whatever. And I'm the guy that's pointing you in the direction of your 5 by 4 by 8 by 10 block of wood is over this way.
And, how can a person walk with that much wood?
I don't know, you need bigger pants.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, like my job description is more or less like your shitty wood is over in this direction, and they go, all right, and I'll be like, oh, you probably need some help carrying that, so I'll help carry some of that into your back of your truck. Yeah, that's about it.
Jeff, that's very mean of you.
That's about it. And if anything, it's a slackjaw yokel type of job, because every person that walks in or every person that drives in with their truck is always like, I'm fixing a deck or I'm contracting out for this one guy, and it's the same thing over and over.
Yeah, my job is basically go gather this. It's a warehouse, so it's go gather this shit, help the people or help the drivers pack this crap or make paint. So it's like, okay.
So
we're clean.
So here's another good question then. Are you guys interested in talking any games you guys played recently or anything like that? Anything
I
interesting?
Time to play games. To be perfectly honest, I haven't had time.
Yeah, I'm almost have no time to play games, but I had found some time to play something.
So I played.
I played Tower of Guns and Heavy Bullets.
Okay. I played Smash Bros. And some GTA 5.
The new Smash Bros?
New Smash Bros. On 3DS.
So, Josh, tell us about Tower of Guns.
Tower of Guns. Let me look up an image. It's weird, very weird. So basically, it's one of those roguelikes, randomly generated levels type of game, but it's a first-person shooter. And the funny thing about this one is that there's not necessarily any enemies running at you. It's more of a there's a whole bunch of a wall of guns all over the place, and they're trying to shoot at you. So the best way to describe it is you're going through. Actually, the game is actually based off of the not Unity, but the Unreal Engine. So because of the Unreal Engine, you can just make these giant sweeping areas. Hold on.
Which UDK or Unreal 4?
It's older. Like it's been out since. I thought I would say the older one because it's
UDK,
been out.
okay.
Yeah. Where the hell did I put it? Oh, there it is. Okay. So basically, the game itself. Best way to describe it, you're basically thrown into a dungeon, and and if you keep going into dungeon, it gets more elaborate and more different. But as you first start out, you're just shooting against turrets, and that's more or less the enemy that you're fighting against. It's just a lot of random turrets all the way around the room, and you're just trying to bullet dodge all of these bullet fire coming at you, and you're trying to shoot at the turrets to deactivate them or explode, and just keep continuing and like try to get more power ups and such. But the funny thing is, it's one of those games that the bullets are super slow. So you see the bullets like fire out of these giant cannons. They're like 6 times the size of you, and you're like, oh god. But you go, oh shit, this bullet's coming at me is about the size of a room. But you can like sidestep it and shoot at the cannon and deactivate it.
Okay.
And also you get power ups as you keep going into these random dungeons. One of the power ups I remember picking up was you can add a modifier to your gun, and one of the modifiers was landmines, and I had a shotgun.
Okay.
So it made every pellet into a like a landmine if it were to land on a surface. So like if you weren't careful while shooting the room, you could step over your own landmines and blow yourself up.
So it sounds like they just said screw realism. Let's just make a game that's balls to the wall fun.
Oh yeah. And also another factor to add to the balls to the wall fun of it is there's a storyline to it, but the story doesn't matter because because every time you start the game and you start playing it, it makes a different storyline of why these people are going into the same tower. So there's one storyline where you're a dog and you're you're a dog, and you're talking back to your owner, and your owner is talking about, oh, we need to find the cure for this disease that's spreading from the tower. And the dog is all, yeah, I gotta find this cure or else everyone's gonna die and blah blah blah. But I'm like, but like the avatars don't matter, the conversation doesn't matter, but yet there's like some sort of linear story of why are these people going into the tower trying to get to the top. And basically the string of story that connects all of them is that there's something special at the top and no one knows what it is, and it keeps changing.
So bullshit.
Yeah, it's sort of bullshit. There is something special at the top, but no one knows what it is, and that's the constant. So, but every time someone's trying to get to the top, they can't seem to. Every time they try to get to the top, they either can't get far enough, or they go insane, or they, when they come back, they like commit suicide and stuff like that. Like, yeah, the game is just out there with its logic.
Good.
Yeah.
That's always good. That's always good in the game.
Yeah, and the level design is actually pretty decent. There's also a whole bunch of puzzles within each room. Like, let's say you go into one room and it's really tall, but you start realizing, oh, I can see a secret through this, slight crack in the wall, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna get there. Well, there's actually like hidden walls, and there's hidden doors sometimes, and there's also like if you get enough power ups to begin with, you can actually jump to where you need to go and like double jump all the way up there and get all the neat power ups and such. So yeah, this game just adds all the fun to everything. It just
Okay.
it goes logic and flips the middle finger.
Flips the middle finger. Okay.
Yep.
Is this game like by any means a roguelike, or is the level design kind of just like um kind of set in stone?
I would say that it's very roguelike. I would say that the level design is chaotic. Like in other roguelikes, you say that the level design's a little chaotic because in a roguelike, you're not sure what you're gonna fall into.
Yeah.
And yeah, you in this one, it's the level design is smart enough to not make sure you're not gonna be in an endless pit of forever or like stuck at a floor that you can't get out of or anything. It always kind of checks of like what's the abilities that you have versus what challenges it can toss at you.
Okay.
So yeah, so if it looks for stuff of like, oh, you have this certain gun, so I'm gonna tweak it towards this way type of thing. And yeah, and so for the level design is it's smart enough to know that oh you can do this but not do this but such.
So what they did is they probably just used variables. So if this or if this equal true, or if character high jump equal true, include these tall ass walls that you can jump over type thing.
Exactly. What else? Oh yeah, and the different turret types that you run against in the game are there's a lot of different turret types. There's one that shoot bombs. There's one that shoot lasers. There's one that shoot really small missiles. One shoots giant missiles. One shoots like cannonball type balls and they bounce around the room. And yeah, like so far there's all these different size of turrets and stuff trying to kill you. Also, there's boss fights.
Of course, there's boss fights.
Of course, there's boss fights.
What about the other game you played?
The other game I played, Heavy Bullets. Yeah, this one, it's again another roguelike because that's the flavor of the year for now. Everyone's making their own roguelike. I think later in the future, people start figuring out that hey, we can make this level design easier, just roguelike it, but or make it algorithm that everyone's going to use. But anyway, in Heavy Bullets, it's another first-person shooter, but this one is a little more story-based, just a bit. It's basically a story of you're locked in a weird tower. And it's a tower made for like let's see a good example here. It's a tower made for like let's say you know Predator has his own planet so he can hunt down weird species of aliens for so we can have you know that like their pride medals of the skulls and stuff like that of like all these aliens they've killed.
Yeah.
This one is kind of like that, but you're going through this tower and you're trying to reach to the bottom of this tower, which is interesting. You're going through shooting these weird geometric shaped monsters and trying to just trying to get to the bottom of the tower because something went wrong. Like I believe the tower is controlled by AI or something. I basically my review is going to go all the way up to the first boss because I never got past it, and you constantly have to go back all the way back to the first level, and you have to go through like 4 levels. It takes me over. I probably take way too long to go through it, but it takes me like over an hour just to get to like level 4 or something like that.
Where's your review going to be?
My review, I guess, is going to be like the first couple of levels, and just the way like how the game works and stuff like that. So, let's see here. I need some images just to spruce up my memory of this one here. Oh, not that one. Oh wait, I got a better way to do it. Let's look at the YouTube video.
Well, while he's doing that, refreshing himself.
Yeah.
Jeff, I noticed a mild decline in 3ds Max users like discussions and stuff like that, and this has been a regular thing declining, as well as more and more. And I've been looking up at different studios, and more of them are saying Maya, not 3ds Max and Maya. Before, most studios said 3ds Max and Maya, just 3ds Max or just Maya. Now, fewer and fewer are even saying 3ds Max and Maya.
I think I agree with you. It's an interesting world that we live in right now. This is something that it does look like they're gonna stop reporting Max soon. If my hope is that eventually they would just though do something like make Max into the starter product, make it cheaper, 700.
I think that they just cancel it before they did that. Like, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Like honestly, my biggest thing I like about Max is what's causing them to can't stop supporting it is the stack.
Yeah.
The stack, like, and I don't think Maya has anything like it. Like, as far as I can tell, Maya does not have anything like it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because for all those who don't know what I'm talking about when I say the stack, what the stack is that you can add it on. Okay, let's say for example you make an editable polygon or poly not polygon poly, but yeah, like a mesh that uses editable polys, and then you can add on another layer on top of it of another editable poly, and you only should edit the very top one unless you're doing some very specific things. You can edit the lower ones, because if you delete the top one, everything you did in the one below it is still there.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's kind of like a quick save feature, but it's more powerful than that because you can add on different modifiers and all these cool different effects, and you can just delete them. Maya has something similar with they have a really advanced undo system, but I much prefer the stack because it gives you much more flexibility.
Maya's also a lot more complicated too.
That too. If you're new to modeling, jumping into Maya is like being thrown into the middle of the ocean and told to swim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like recently, I've been playing a war game. I play War Machine every Thursday night. We're not going to talk about that though. Ever again. If so, we're going to get people on who actually know what they're talking about. But like one of the players sat there and said to me, like, "Why are you? We started at the same time. Why are you not on my level?" And I believe he played Warhammer long before I did. I've only started playing War Machine, like War Machine's my first game. And so I kind of like the way that I kind of justified him saying that was I was like, okay, he doesn't necessarily know that I never played Warhammer. But if I were to sit there and if I were to sit there and react to it, what I would literally say is, you know, I have 6 years of experience with Max and Maya and 3ds Max and Blender and all those programs, and you don't. So it would be exactly like throwing somebody into an ocean. Would literally probably like destroy him.
Yeah, you have to, if you are gonna play with Maya, and if it's your first time doing 3D modeling, take it in small chunks. Do only one little part of it to start off with, and slowly work your way up. Like, only do modeling for like the first 2 months, then move on to something else after that. Because if you try and do more than one, you're gonna be overwhelmed real quick.
Mm-hmm. I would say like start small and then work up. That's like really the best way to do it.
Another program to look at, but sadly, as far as I'm aware, as of now, is not available to even try out for free, is Modo by the Foundry. People are saying, and I've been looking at this for quite some time. People are saying it's a really good program. It might boot Mac or might replace 3ds Max as kind of the artist, like the gaming 3D modeler maker thing. Words fail me.
Oh, it's some sort of easier to use modeling tool.
Yeah, like by the sounds of it, they focused entirely on the modeling. They tried to integrate both, uh, both kind of like a Mudbox and 3ds Max into the same package.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I personally really do think though that 3ds Max is probably one of the better programs I've used.
For 3D modeling purely, yeah, I would agree because that's what it focuses on. It's a 3D modeling program where Maya's everything program, and because of that, there's so many things that can and do go wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what's probably going to come out of if this does happen, where Maya ends up leaving, being the leader, you're probably going to have either a bunch of stuff to fill its gap. Max is a good program. I don't think that it's not going to leave with a whimper. What's probably going to happen is that team's probably going to work on the next version of Maya, and the next version of Maya is probably going to be better and better and better.
Yeah, which I won't complain. Like if Maya can match 3ds Max in quality, I've got no problem. Or in modeling capabilities, I've got no problem with using Maya. But as of now, Maya's awkward to use for modeling.
Oh yeah, and for animation and stuff like that, it's probably some of the best tools I've used. The human IK rig and stuff like that. It's a lot more complicated. But like one of the things that you did, Sam made a dog a few months back. The dog looked absolutely beautiful. He made something called a control rig, and in Maya, there's an ability where you can just set up something to make the control rig for you.
Yeah. And yeah, I made it the control rig. It worked great for me. The moment I gave it to somebody else, boom, it exploded. Yeah. And we still have no idea what happened because we just didn't bother trying to fix it at that point.
Yeah, that's the one thing I probably don't necessarily like with Max is when something goes wrong, it goes wrong horribly. With something with Maya, something goes wrong, you can actually at least go back a couple of steps and be like, okay, I think it was this, and you fix it, or you tweak a little bit and go, okay, it totally was that. I know that's the one thing I remembered with when I was using Maya first.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, when I switched with the 3D Max, yeah, that's the when something goes wrong. I remember one problem I had with 3D Max, and I problem solved it to the point of because I made a control to the entire room or something like that. It tried to control everything at the same time and will cause the entire computer to freeze. So, yeah, like I had to really troubleshoot the shit out of it in order to like really figure out why it was doing that. And then once I figured that out, I was like, okay, I'm just never gonna hit that button ever.
Never again.
Exactly. But like it doesn't necessarily tell you like what's wrong except for but in Maya it'll at least be like I think general problems here and you'd be like it totally was.
So anyways, I think that we should talk about get off the sad topic of Max maybe being destroyed and dismantled and horribly being disfigured, which is distressing and saddening and everything under the sun. But so what do you guys think about the awesome new thing that has happened recently of the I'm trying to think here. What do you think about like what are some good sources for learning game design and stuff like that?
Game design, there's not a lot. Game specific topics within game design, like 3D modeling, animation, actually not really texture creation for some reason isn't really a touch topic, but for those type of things, digital tutors is the way to go. That's what I used in school, and I'll be frank, I was way ahead of the curve in class. Like, yeah, I was doing stuff that nobody was even thinking of.
I'm gonna say this right now for game design, like picking up a book and stuff like that. Picking up a book about games in general, like picking up Masters of Doom or Level Up. Level Up's the book I use to learn some game design stuff. Um, those are some really good sources for game design. Picking up a book about the story of the game development and stuff like that, which I feel as if the game industry needs to do more of. Like, I would really like a book of this is what Duke Nukem went through.
Well, Duke Nukem. Oh wait, Duke Nukem, the latest one, the one that was that and that it kind of exploded itself.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, definitely explaining what went wrong. Definitely, that would be a good thing.
Okay. So do you guys want to cut it right there?
I've actually found the video and brushed up my memory on heavy bullets.
Do you want to do that quick?
Yeah, I'll do that quick. So, heavy bullets. I want to reiterate or re-say what it is. It's basically roguelike FPS. You're going through a tower dungeon type of game, going through the levels and trying not to die. But the thing about heavy bullets is very, very cartoony and unapologetically 80s. Like, it's very, very 80s. To the point that one of the special item pickups is a boombox, and it doesn't do anything other than playing the soundtrack of the game. And the soundtrack is very techno-driven, like very psychedelic type of music. And yeah, but the funny thing about that is you pick it up, it plays the soundtrack, and you think, oh, it has to do something else, like maybe the monsters hate it or something, or maybe it drives away certain things. No, it doesn't do anything. It just plays music, blasting loud.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's like putting the Bible in a game and then saying it's a weapon.
You could chuck it, and maybe it hurt, and maybe it'll give someone a bruise. But yeah, so basically, it's a roguelike, and you go through the levels like any roguelike. The big difference with this one is you could say this FPS roguelike is more like you're giving someone a bow and arrow, and you can pick up your bows afterward, or pick up your arrows, I mean. So in heavy bullets, you have a gun, it's a revolver. You have to manually reload, and you have grenades. You chuck your grenades very terribly. If anything, you lob them like 10 feet in front of you, and it's not the greatest. You kind of use those to, you lob them behind you, and you run past it, and you lob them in front of you, and you run backward, and you hope that the monsters get exploded by that bomb instead of you. And yeah, and the gun is interesting because it's a revolver. You have to manually reload, and if you're not careful enough, you could miss your bullets and not pick them up, and continue with less bullets. But it's actually hard to miss your bullets and hard to miss change because they constantly bounce up and down, and you can hear them. They make little tinking noises, and little like 8-bit sound effects and stuff like that. So yeah, and basically it's a game of patience and don't do anything rash or you're gonna die very horribly and very fast. And also there's a underlining story to it of there's something wrong with the tower, and you're sent in to try to flush out the problem at the top of the tower. But the thing is, there's an undertone of the tower is evil. It's owned by a corporation, and there's someone within this tower telling the truth of like, this tower is out to just make money. It just kills people for money. It doesn't want you to outlive your hunter fantasy in a safe, protected environment. It just wants you to die so you can keep your money and stuff like that. And that actually, the story only evolves when you collect secret items in secret rooms. So if you don't see those secret rooms or secret doors, you just kind of walk past and you don't really realize what's the hidden story to it, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so basically, I would get up to the first level boss, and I would sadly die to it lots of times. I don't think I've passed it yet, because basically what would happen is you open up the boss door room, you hear all the guns charge up and shoot at you, and you go, I think I need to shoot this thing, and you die immediately. And and it takes a while to get back up to the boss room. At least for me, anyways, it takes me at least 30 minutes to an hour just to get up there. But yeah, this game is very unapologetically like 80s psychedelic. You took the weird purple pill and you decided to go on an adventure with a revolver, and you're going through the levels one at a time, trying to not die and shoot all the monsters coming at you, running at coming at you. And what else is there to talk about? Oh yes, there's vending machines you can run past, and these vending machines are very strange. They're kind of touch panel, and they will have a set amount of money and items within the machines. There's one for bullets, there's one for items, and there's one for your bank, which you can carry on to your next life. And so far, what I figured out is if you find one for your bank and you found like 3 other extra items in a level, you want to drag it to your bank so you can sell it for more money, so you can get more bullets and just keep going. You keep doing that over and over. But it also doesn't mean that it's not useful to use as items or whatever. But yeah, like in the game is just super weird. If anything, you just watch a video or at least play it, or at least get it and play it, and you see what I mean. Of like, this game is unapologetic, like it's just super 80s through and through, and it's like someone just gave you a drug.
Yeah.
Of playing it.
All right.
Yeah, it's very good. I would say it's leaning on the hard side of difficulty, but other than that, it's very good.
All right. I think that's all for tonight, guys.
Anyways, this was episode 2 of the Black Mind podcast, recorded on the 31st of May. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening, and Forza La Ferrari.
Oh.